Hello and welcome to another round of the Master of the X tournament, which is a deathmatch of 1 versus 1 Franks only tournament on Voobly. This is the second game I am casting here, which is 7ev3n-Beast versus MrTempo. And here in blue we have 7ev3n-Beast playing with the Franks, of course, to the northwest of the map, and here in yellow is MrTempo playing with the Franks as well, of course, to the south. And yeah, the start here, nothing out of the ordinary. MrTempo's scout died before he could really harass anything. I mean, he could, of course, a little bit delay, but 7ev3n-Beast was able to take it out before he could deal any real damage. The same on the other side. So the kills are still even. Population is about equal. Alright, but there is, I see a dead villager here already. So MrTempo is having the villager lead by... Actually no, he is behind even by 2. Wait a second, I'm talking nonsense here. Of course, the total population is equal, but the villager count is in favor of MrTempo because everybody just keeps producing villagers. But if you lose one, another dead villager here. So now we have even a 3 villager lead for MrTempo, which is at the start quite a nice thing, having this extra building speed, be able to get all those production buildings, got the houses up quicker to not be housed, hopefully. Let's see, so MrTempo is having enough population space here. It's all looking good. Has some more military, actually no, they're exactly the same. But, oh dear, one castle here, that one got denied. Second one a little bit further back. This one looks like it's safe, there's enough army to protect the villages around. And, yeah. This will of course cover the gold, as gold mines are very important in 1-on-1, since trade is just not a factor here. But the base is completely unprotected, so there are no castles for MrTempo back at his base. Let's see. MrTempo also just started to collect some gold here, and these kills are heavily in his favor. But this is probably about to change here. This castle, oh dear, it's probably looks like a 99% castle. Yeah, this one could not get finished, but still, MrTempo is losing here big time. Now, kills are even actually, but the military count, so the standing army at the moment, probably is not. We have 7ev3n-Beast with 109 soldiers against 58 by MrTempo, so it's almost 2 versus 1. And now we see also 7ev3n-Beast starting to add in those throwing X-Men, which we don't see any on the other side just yet. There are some trebuchets. But what value are trebuchets when it comes properly defend? We talk about being able to defend things. MrTempo denied this town center here. Had some good raiding. Will 7ev3n-Beast be here in time? There's actually not a lot of villagers inside of this town center, so the only thing really being lost here would be time. But well, time can be just as crucial. But now, since we see there's so much economy been currently lost here for 7ev3n-Beast, how is he looking on the other side? In Tempo's base, he is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 town centers at this point, which is actually 3 times the amount of his opponent. But just on all military wise, it's not looking all too great for MrTempo for some reason. Yeah, this fight it could actually win. His advantage has somehow it is mixed in. I'm not too sure about this, because Frankish Paladins, they are quite strong units. Okay, and now 7ev3n-Beast is deploying some serious firepower here on those castles. The Tempo has enough trebuchets to actually destroy those in defense, since he has the hill advantage here. But the problem is he has not enough army to actually cover, to provide cover for his trebuchets. So those castles are about to fall. Trebuchets will probably get killed off as well if he doesn't retreat here quickly. But looks like 7ev3n-Beast doesn't have the intention to stick under the castle for much longer. He is rather waiting for his trebuchets to take care of them and maintain his big army size at the same time. So he's trying to play safe, not running any risks. At the same time, what do we see here? More raiding by Tempo. But the thing is, if he's just raiding all the time and is then, as a result, losing the fights because he doesn't have each army united, then that could become a problem indeed. Hello, Tara. Wait a second. Tempo is actually overtaken in terms of population here. But that is not due to his military, but he has actually almost 3 times the economy of his opponent. Now that is some interesting stuff. Will it help him out? Let's see. Mr. Tempo, what are your barracks doing? Yes, 7 barracks. I'm not sure if that is actually enough, because we will need a lot more halberdiers if he really wants to stop these halberdiers. Also, 7ev3n-Beast is now starting to add a good number of innate throwing X-Men. Well, the rules of this tournament actually are forbidding the use of more than 40 X-Men on the battlefield at once. 40 X-Men are more than enough to make any number of halberdiers just, well, melt away really quickly. But Mr. Tempo, I think, has has one single castle at this moment, building a second one over here. And there's a third one over here in this corner, actually. Also a trebuchet, so maybe he's trying to prepare another push. Oh, yeah, almost killed this this town center once again. But looks like he's not really able to come back from this. His military still is almost only half of his opponent's ones, and is split across the map, which just might be his demise in the end. I think he killed some villagers here and there, but he's not really able to put a stop to this, because 7ev3n-Beast is just rebuilding over here, where all of his military is, all of his fortifications are. So there is not really a way in there for Mr. Tempo to deal any real damage there. Only these handful of villagers on the other front. But 7ev3n-Beast should be able to just lose them without a problem. But now we see 7ev3n-Beast actually making a smart decision. He got everything he wanted from this place. There's nothing really of value apart from... No, there's actually nothing of interest here. But here's the complete other half of Mr. Tempo's economy. Oh, there's one part back here as well, another castle. But yeah, the main part we do see here, there's gold mines, stone mines, and a lot of farms. Also another castle down for Mr. Tempo, but it looks like he is trying to make a move now. Problem is, this is one huge hill 7ev3n-Beast is sitting on. So these throwing X-Men, they just get, well, thrown away, you could say. On the other hand, his paladins are quite isolated now, so a good number of halberdiers could take them down. However, this is not the numbers he would need. I think there's just still not enough barracks. Mr. Tempo also stopped production here for some reason, is that correct? He's training some paladins. He has a lot of resources in the bank, but for some reason he's not producing any halberdiers at this point, only a few paladins. I don't quite... okay, there we go. There's adding more halberdiers now. But I fear with those 4 barracks he doesn't have just the speed to get up enough units before his whole economy has been cleared. Now making a smart move with the throwing X-Men. That's what I like to see, just a quick taking out one trebuchet. The problem is the remaining 4 trebuchets are more than enough to take out everything. Everything MrTempo has left. There's just one castle in this corner, one castle in this corner, and one over here. But none of them are actually helping out now in this main base, which he is losing at an increasing pace. And now he's also losing the production facilities. Yeah, he built some more farms here in the corner, which is really the easiest to protect spot at this point, with a hill on a small entrance and a castle on it. And now it looks like he's actually able to turn this. I have no idea how this suddenly happened. But MrTempo just has soldiers all over the map. And 7ev3n-Beast is not really reacting to this at all. See, all of those villagers have been killed. Only I'm not sure how many actually garrisoned this town center. But see, so many dead villagers on these farms. And only like minimal effort really required from MrTempo to do so. Having the trebuchets on his right flank now used properly. Taken out the town centers, some houses. I think there was barracks as well. And now it looks like he's trying to get rid of this castle as well. And the push by 7ev3n-Beast was very strong, but it just looks like he kind of overextended here, overstayed, was not reinforcing his army enough. Was maybe concentrating a little bit too much on building up his economy and not enough with protecting it. Once this army was dead, of course, the way into 7ev3n-Beast's eco was open. Okay, but this push has been stopped now. The 7ev3n-Beast was able to regroup. Looks like he had enough resources in the bank. Let's see. Yeah, food is kind of lacking though, because I think he has 6 farmers, 7 farmers, 8. And these 4 paladins are still raiding. Let's actually take a look at the... There we go. Now when we took a look at the resources gathered, this is actually quite impressive. Every single resource is dominated by MrTempo. He has more food, more gold, so those are the 2 most important ones, I would say. But also more wood and a lot of extra stone in the bank. So maybe he is still turning this around. Who knows? Okay, those guys now are dying. Then they're sitting on this castle. But they're still just denying this gold to 7ev3n-Beast. He is aggressively taking out MrTempo and making an outpost. Outpost push. Lovely. Alright. Zombies tried to make another push here, but he just didn't have the numbers. Lost too much. Was replacing the economy. Economy was up already again. But if we just take a look at his resources. Yeah, 500 food left. But none of these stables actually able to produce anything at this point. So yeah, very good raiding. In the first half, I would say just the focus on raiding cost MrTempo a lot of fights. He lost a lot of ground in the same at the same time and all that stuff. But on the long run, he was able to have a more economy going, a more stable economy, and his opponent was not able to actually secure these. So this really worked out nicely for MrTempo in the end. I did not really believe he would win this, but he took the victory in the end. very comfortably. There we go. So let's lovely, it's working now. Graphs are up. 7ev3n-Beast is here, and yeah, players, colors, civilizations all the same. What changes is the strategy here. We got 7ev3n-Beast in blue, putting up a early market, and you see, there we go. He is selling 3,600 or something resources right away, so he has a lot of gold. And as soon as his opponent tries to build anything there in terms of market or trade goods, he will notice that the prices actually are not that good because his opponent actually used this before. And okay, the defensive wall of almost worked for 7ev3n-Beast here. Lost one villager before he could also put down this castle. And also still open back here, which MrTempo is going to find out very soon, I think. But nope. 7ev3n-Beast is too quick for that. And there are no holes in this wall, I can see. Lovely. So now all of the early aggression of MrTempo will actually be kinda useless, since it's just ending up on these walls. He cannot break castles with paladins as hard as he might be trying. Though it could be distracting from the push on the side. Stable down to under 100 HP, 4 and it's down. Okay. There you have to be careful to not let just one building sit there with 100 HP or something. It could get broken very, very quickly. Same here. If you just assign some more villagers to those other buildings, your castle can just sit around a little bit longer. You don't need the castle if they're not getting in that early on anyways. No, they only have a lot of paladins in... What's it called? It's 7ev3n-Beast. Yeah, right. Lot of paladins in 7ev3n-Beast space. And let's take a look at the villager counts. We'll need to press F4 for that. There we go. Villager counts are 11 to 17, 11 to 18. So Tempo has a lot more building power and also has gotten the first economy up. Now he built a market as well, but he probably has noticed that the market prices are not in his favor at all. He still probably sold some resources because his gold is... how is his gold looking? Not good. He has none of it. So he really needs to... Yeah, he's building a second town center on the gold. This is a front gold, which is kind of bad for him, but he's got any relics here. He's got castle on the map, he's the map control. And he killed so many villages of 7ev3n-Beast, who also could not really do anything economy-wise behind these walls, or the building walls, because the gold was in the front. Okay. But in the safety, 7ev3n-Beast was able to mass a little army here, which is actually not that little, and now can deploy trebuchets on these castles. Third one couldn't even get built, and this is just non-defensible for MrTempo, who maybe overextended a little bit. He lost too many gold units, too many paladins under these castles, and he couldn't use the gold from the market to retrain them, because, well, 7ev3n-Beast did that already. So that was a really nice strategy here to play both defensively and have a market, because the opponent is, when he's playing aggressive, he loses more units. Also, he kills some of your villagers as well, but all in all, he will have less gold in the bank after that. And then if he can't have an easy way to actually get that gold back, that's very good for you. That puts 7ev3n-Beast in a decent spot. His military count is more than double his opponent's. His villager count is, wait a second, less than half his opponent's. So we again have this split. On the one side, 7ev3n-Beast is having the big military, small economy. On the other side of the smaller military but big economy, but on the long run we know the big economy kinda almost always wins, or at least has an edge in the late game. But yeah, if 7ev3n-Beast can make this push a little bit more efficient this time, then he should be able to deny this gold. Okay, we have repairers on the castle, and this time MrTempo is actually deploying his trebuchets as a defensive structure, you could say, even taking out his opponent's traps and within the safety of his castles. There you go. He is missing a lot though. Ay, ay, ay. Oh dear. He still has 300 stone to repair though, so he can do this for a little bit longer. There we go, one left, but now his opponent's paladins actually have broken through and are taking out these trebuchets. Nope, this one of 7ev3n-Beast is still alive. He is still working on this castle. Tempo actually, is he gathering stone? Let's see. Yes, okay. So he can probably sustain the castle repair for a little bit longer. Also the castles of the Franks are of course a lot cheaper here, which means that building new ones also isn't such of a trouble. But what might be a trouble would be maybe stopping this army. We'll see. Yeah, 27 soldiers only for MrTempo, 72 for MrBeast, but now it looks like he is not keeping the push on longer. He's kind of playing it a little bit safer. He's adding halberdiers now as well, and sending some raiders across the map, because he definitely does not want MrTempo to take all the gold on the map. Got some paladins out here now. He's finally doing the raiding, which he should have been doing more last game. Now he really improves on that, but I think there are not nearly enough halberdiers on here just yet to defend the trebuchet or defend the economy behind. He didn't get any castles here at this point. It would have been a good spot, I think, this here on the hill, right next to the market. But the throwing axe is actually dealing a lot of damage, and of course hiding behind the paladins, they are not that easy to take out. Also sitting on a hill, they deal extra damage, take less damage. That is all working in the favor of 7ev3n-Beast, which then enabled him to this time save his economy from this early push. But now 7ev3n-Beast is, yeah, he's building a castle on this hill, doesn't want to rely solely on his troops to defend his economy, and will probably also be able then to take from this gold. Does 7ev3n-Beast see... I'm not sure if he can... It doesn't see the town center at least here. I mean, he can pretty much guess it from the outlines, but I think he has some more pressing issues at the moment. Still not really investing too much into halberdiers, just a few ones here and there. Okay, well now he got additional barracks and he is adding more and more halberdiers into his army as well. And looks like he is winning yet another fight here. He is deploying the trebuchets on these town centers. And it looks like this time he can finally push MrTempo off this gold. Is there anything? Yeah, gold. MrTempo still has this gold mine. And that one over here. So he's not completely dry. Let's see, he has 500 gold in the bank. He has relics as well, I believe. There we go. He has all 5 relics actually. And let's now take a look at the resources. That might be interesting. Yeah, every single resource is in the favor of Tempo. Although food is closer than last game, and gold is... I think he is starting to lose a little bit of the edge here. He lost the main gold now, he lost secondary gold. Only has like the tertiary gold of his opponent, I guess. But this is about to end very soon, as well as 7ev3n now starts to get some smaller raiding bands and denying resources all over the map. So this should be in the grip, in the safe in the grip of 7ev3n. Yep. He's hindering his opponent's economy. He's still keeping the push going. He's not protecting this trebuchet properly though. That's kind of where you want to have your halberdiers hanging with be around the trebuchets, because if your opponent just tries to be sneaky and run around with a few halberdiers, then they will be just greeted by the halberds. Halberds? Yeah, halberds of your halberdiers. Retreating his trebuchet here. Here's a second one back there. What is his plan? I think he's trying to get a bigger army out. See, MrTempo is really suffering since he lost the southern gold mine. He lost the northern. He's actually no gold income at all. He only has the market to sell resources, and of course, well, he's 5 relics, so he's not in a terrible spot. But his opponent is just in a better one. I should say that like that. 7ev3n is not even putting down a castle next to this gold mine, so he will be able to farm it safely for himself. That should maybe bring some movement to those grass. Gold grass is still getting closer to each other, so 7ev3n is definitely catching up there, even with 0 out of 5 relics. Oh dear, MrTempo still has not given up on this gold though. He's building a new town center. But how's the military actually looking now? There we go. Population and score both in favor of 7ev3n. Military is 104 against 21-22. Oh dear. Now we see some more barracks and more halberdiers on MrTempo, but I think that might be just too late already. We see there's paladins here, and if they can just take down this monastery, which they are doing, it will mean there's even less gold here for MrTempo. Yeah, and the rest have been ungarrisoned. See all those 5 just laying around here. And gold graphs still getting closer and closer to each other. So no, it should be just a win by a landslide for Beast. He has control over almost all of the gold. Okay, hey. MrTempo hasn't given up just yet, sending in some paladins here to do the raiding. Of course here they just died due to all those castle fire. Over there there's just no defense, no paladins, no halberdiers getting involved either. Losing 2 trebuchets and a few villages, but the question is, can this really stop 7ev3n's onslaught? I think this time just has so many soldiers on the field that this is just not going to happen. He will completely eradicate this. Probably. He might want to get his auxiliaries get involved with the halberdiers, but he has enough army to clear this at least. Oh dear, MrTempo are actually switching over to light cavalry. Now that's some interesting move we haven't seen so far. Well, at least not unless it was a misclick. We've seen some accidental light cavs already, but this looks like a deliberate choice. Since his gold, it's really not looking very fancy. I mean, he's having some gold miners here, but there is 400 gold left together. And these relics not in his possession. Army over here. 2 trebuchets will start to fire at this castle, which means even less throwing axemen for MrTempo. I think this is his last castle as well. Yes. Oh dear. Few paladins, a few halberdiers, that's enough to, well, push this forward here back. Even deploying some trebuchets to speed this process up. Now the last gold mine of MrTempo, actually he abandons it because that's just 100 gold and he would rather save all those villages because its economy count Let's see, how is the villager count actually doing here? First time, MrTempo's villager count is actually lower than 7ev3n-Beast. So 7ev3n-Beast has military edge 108 against 15, villager edge with 92 against 84, and MrTempo caused the GG, bringing us into the game 3. Alright. Now I think I don't need to introduce the players, the colors, all the civilizations, all pretty much the same from the last games. We see a house, a stable, a house, a stable, so they kind of both do the same thing, a little bit spaced out here, so none of those. Oh, this villager, no, it survived. Is there anybody to defend? There's the paladin. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Then there are no dead villagers here, but still MrTempo was able to cause quite some disarray here. Haven't taken a look at the other side because both things were happening at the same time. But yeah, 7ev3n-Beast. No. MrTempo having some nice micro on that scout, enabling him to slow down his opponent. But this time 7ev3n-Beast doesn't look like he is... No, it is actually playing defensively once again, having a lot of halberdiers. On the other side, there's not a single barracks for MrTempo, so he's looking for the military push again. Now he's at least building a bigger number of halberdiers to have more mobility. Those are paladins, to have more mobility on the field. And there's a villager moving forward as well, so where is she heading there? Huh. Really quite an aggressive castle, but this is very on the flat field, so this will not be easy to defend. But since I think he probably saw that 7ev3n-Beast, let's actually see that. He knows that he's building a building wall here, so that he will probably stay in the space for quite a while. Now he just needs to be careful to not lure his opponent too close to this castle before it's finished. Because, did Beast see this? He saw that castle there. Now the question is, what is he doing about it? He's just building trebuchets. Okay, that's the fast and easy way to do with it. Of course, MrTempo might have either used more villagers to build this castle, or build a little bit further back. Because I think at this point, 7ev3n-Beast might actually be able to safely siege this castle before MrTempo can even get any defensive trebuchets out. Since there are 2 castles for 7ev3n-Beast, already 3 castles for 7ev3n-Beast, he's getting more ones and also some town centers, some farms as well. MrTempo is only on the gold, which also makes sense, I would suppose, because yeah, he's producing paladins. Paladins need a lot of gold. Did anybody use a market just yet? I don't think so. Okay. But now the trebuchets deploy, and as I said, there are no defensive trebuchets in place. Now he's only trying to build a throwing X-Men. Second castle, he used a lot more villages, a lot further to the back as well. But what are those paladins trying to do? Another aggressive castle. This one failed as well. MrTempo building more defensive ones on the hill because he doesn't want his economy to be completely open. But now 7ev3n-Beast is just building his own one, which is also been denied. So this looks like it's kind of the perfect spot for castles, but then again, it's not a very good for castles. No, not a very healthy spot for castles, at least. Yeah, what is MrTempo now doing? He could be, if he's not careful, kind of get cornered here. What he's evacuating all his paladins, just wants to avoid the halberdiers, but I heard somebody taking relics. I think it was 7ev3n-Beast. It was MrTempo actually. There we go. He's getting the relics again, because yeah, he's trying to get the gold merchant and maintain it. That is a very good idea. It did win in the first game. It did not quite win in the second game though. But it kind of got close to that, so it's worth a try. some heavy raiding on these villages, on these town centers. He kind of faked a retreat but then just ran back in. That's a nice move by MrTempo. And now there are more and more town centers he can... No, wait. Town centers he cannot pick off, but villages he can pick off. Kills a few villages. Sees, okay, those guys are catching up. I should be continuing my journey. Now the question is, can he actually get out of here? Or is this... No, this looks like there is always a... There's always a gap here. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, now these guys could actually stop this town center from going up. Even if it is sitting just under 2 castles. But having more delay to your opponent's economy is something worth trying out. But at the same time, while we were distracted, while MrTempo was distracted, 7ev3n-Beast was not. He pushed on here. Has those 4 trebuchets and population still very, very close here. Now, this is a very nicely defended economy here by MrTempo. Very easy to defend this against any kind of rush, because there's just so much garrisoning space that you will not need to fear any villages dying out in the open if you have any kind of reaction time whatsoever. The left side looks a little bit more open, but there is this castle in the front, and looks like 7ev3n's attention is more to the middle anyways. So now those trebuchets look quite exposed, I have to say. There are not a huge amount of halberdiers around, so some smart paladins and a few throwing X-Men behind maybe, and all of those trebuchets are gone. I think MrTempo might even be able to take this fight as a whole. We see all of those halberdiers on the left side fighting against the throwing X-Men, which of course they don't. I mean, they try, but they really don't. Aye. Now MrTempo is on the push, but is really pushing without siege? He is not. He is getting 1 trebuchet here, a second one there, and a third one over here already. 5th one. Lovely. He should be able to take down the town centers maybe. I think the numbers on the field are in his favor. Yeah, he has roughly 10 more. Not quite. But he is a little bit in the advantage, because he has this one united army while his opponent is still kind of just trying to build up an army, put them in all in one spot. But the trebuchet still stands here. New ones, a good number of new trebuchets is coming in here as well. Paladins closing as well, and he is also adding more halberdiers, which is a good call, I'd say. Well, very, very sneakily taking relics from this spot. But if you take a look at the military count, it was 24 against 62. Taking a look at the villager count, it was 36 against 106. So we got more military, more economy, more relics, more map control, and all of those things in the end convinced 7ev3n-Beast to actually surrender this in the end, giving MrTempo a 2-1 victory, and which means that he will also progress to the next round in the Master of the X tournament. Lovely. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this game, or this series of game I should say, and well, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. See you then.